Peace, 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 y'all.
Mhm.
Welcome to Peaceful Energy Podcast, where we align life with spaces of peace and wellness for the community. I have Miss Briana here with me today. She's over here. I keep getting used to the camera being on the opposite side. I have Miss Briana here with me today. Briana, introduce yourself. Tell them about what you do.
Hello, everyone. I am Briana. I do at work. I work with students and teachers in providing curriculum suggestions and strategies for the classroom. But I also do collaging and I write when I really, sit down and do that. I do a lot, but I
You
show up. I guess I should say I show up as an instructional coach.
Yes, but I know that you have so many things that you have going on, but you also have, I don't know what to call it, it's almost like a professional organization system to help people kind of bridge the gap in certain spaces, right? Is that kind of what we're
Yeah, so because I work in schools and I also do educational research, so like that's a big part of what I do. And I just moved into the role of working in schools. I think that systems are really important. I study how we learn, how the brain works, how that shows up in like our behaviors. And so I think organization is really important to like understanding who we are as like an organization, um, and how we work and function in organizations like our families and our schools and our businesses.
right. Which I think is super important when we're talking about finding peace and finding the things that align with you. For me, it was very hard for me to be organized in areas that I didn't enjoy.
Hmm.
Because I almost was just like, this ain't it for me. But when it comes down to providing myself with spaces of peace and enjoying life, being organized allows me to tackle and check off the things that I need to get done.
Hmm.
So that totally makes sense. So now I'm going to go through the role of asking you all of these lovely questions.
All right.
But as y'all know, I do this all the time to everybody. But what is your inner G?
So my energy, I told Kristen earlier that before I became familiar with like the format of the podcast, I had woke up this morning with genius and genuine on my mind. And so when she said this earlier, usually when people ask me questions like that, I have to think like really hard. And she knows this. Like it takes me a minute before I can respond to certain things, or I think out loud, like really like sporadically. And so she said it and I was like, no, like I already have an answer for this. Like it was so, I don't know, it was so fulfilling.
Divine.
Yeah, it really was, because I just returned from a trip to the Grand Canyon, and that was such a exhilarating experience. Honestly, like I can't find many words to explain it, but to come back and then that to happen, and there's so many reasons why that those words were already on my mind. It really felt divine.
I love it. I love it. So, when you are working with people and helping them create their functioning system,
Hmm.
what does that do for you? Like, in regards to having like occupational wellness?
Wow, I love how you phrase that question. It does so much for me because I think that we want to continue to transcend and learn in every space of our lives. Like kids want to learn at school, but how is it connecting to my life to transcend me in the spaces that I really need it? Or I really want to be good at my job, but I don't know how to ask for help, or I don't know how to truly apply the things that you're saying to me. So yeah, like it's really fulfilling for me. Because we all want to be better. Like we all want to see things, and there are people who are reluctant to, or there are people who are reluctant to a new view, or there are people
Yeah.
who are resistant to a new view. But like I think it's really important that people will have the skills and understand their resources to be able
Yeah.
to
And so
keep
you're
growing.
there to like bridge the gap.
Yeah, and I think that as I'm growing in being both a researcher of education and a practitioner in education, because I think there's merit to both. And I've been in grad school for a really long time, kind of removed from the classroom. And so being able to be in a school and see how there's gaps between parents and educators, researchers and educators, administrators and educators,
Yeah.
parents, all of these things, I do see um, myself working in the capacity to bridge all these stakeholders.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I think that's amazing. So, how do you turn off? Like, what is your therapeutic regimen to being like, you know what? I need my time.
I think part of that is my personality.
Okay.
I think I really do think that I coming home, being alone is my rest.
Mhm.
So once I switch into the space that I consider home is sacred, so many things are relieved off of me from the outside world. So I think that has a lot to do with like my sense of home.
Yeah.
Um, and that doesn't necessarily have to be like my physical space, but going around friends or to certain places that just feel like home to release. Um, that's one thing. So that sometimes that looks like not calling my friends back. Sometimes like that
Yeah.
looks like not hanging out after work or whatever that may be. But it's like that's how I take care of myself.
I think that's beautiful. And
Yeah.
I'm big on that. I think I'm learning that more, especially being here now. Of
Mhm.
course, when I was going home to four children, turning off was a bit more difficult. I used to actually have to sneak my quiet time in like early in the morning from the hours of like 4 to 6 while
Mhm.
they were still asleep. But now I get to come home and I can decompress as
Mhm.
soon as I walk through the door and no one says anything. And
Yeah.
so I totally get how like just coming home and going or to safe spaces
Mhm.
can make you feel like, oh, I'm turning off. I don't have to worry about this.
I think another way, as you were talking, another way that I take care of myself is how I bathe. And
Mm,
just like having a lot like the time to relax.
yeah.
And, oh, you said what times you do it. And when I lived in Michigan and really just had my own space, I had an interesting sleeping like routine. And so I actually got in the practice of like bathing from like 4 to 6 in the morning. And that was really therapeutic. And as I think about like how our ways of taking care of ourselves change, like as we're exposed to new information, like we keep up with new things or we try new things, and sometimes we fall off for whatever reasons.
Yeah.
That was a practice that was really sacred to me. But even still now, like the act of putting salts in the bath and like
Yes.
just having a good time. Yeah.
Just enjoying that, yeah, that moment. I'm definitely big on that. I like to take a lot of herbal baths myself. So I totally get it. So, Miss Brianna, tell me something you love about yourself.
Something I love about myself is how much I laugh. Maybe I just like that. I like that so many things make me think about other things that make me laugh opposed to like
Yeah.
other places that my mind can go. So it's like, oh, there's beauty in that moment. And maybe I connect laughter to beauty in a way. Like
Mm.
there's something, yeah, like
And you have
something.
such a full laugh. Like it's not like you're like, ha ha ha. No, you like this is hilarious, and you laugh with all of you. And I think it's just a very genuine space. And so I get it. Your laughter makes other people feel great. So
Yeah,
keep laughing. Keep laughing.
well, I enjoy laughing.
That's beautiful.
um, but Should I say something else that I enjoy about myself?
Yes, you should.
Okay.
I tell people to say as much as they can think of.
Yeah, I also love that I let myself kind of be in the spaces that I'm in.
Yeah.
I don't like to sit in certain emotions, but I think I'm growing to let myself be and always kind of have let myself be in these different spaces because I find so much value in the lessons that you learn in just kind of sitting.
Mm,
Like, yeah, so I enjoy that I've learned to stop rushing myself.
mm, that's a big one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it feels good. It
I
feels
bet.
good.
There's freedom in that. It's so much
Yeah.
freedom in that, and it's so therapeutic to really just be like, you know what, moving on my own time. I'm gonna get it done, and it's okay. Like
Mhm,
whatever happens is okay, and that's the reality. I think a lot of people don't realize we hold ourselves to such these high standards, but the reality is, whatever happened is going to be okay.
mhm.
As long as there's tomorrow, it's going to be okay.
And I think having someone like you around me, in a space where I'm learning so much and there's so many personalities and people to care for, um, reminds me of that through like how you talk and how you affirm and
Oh, thank you.
like
Thank.
I always say like I always have and it's so interesting because I always have like a jerk reaction to not want to accept it and like it's like no I need this or I need to remind myself it is. Yes.
It's so funny though, because I love like when we have our conversations, because I watch the light bulb click. Because you'll be like, uh huh, yep. And then you'll go into like your little space. And then you'll be like, right, yes. Because what you're saying, and it's like, so it's beautiful. I don't want to say it's hilarious, but it's just beautiful because I'm watching your head like digest and break it all down
Hmm.
whenever we talk. And I'm just like, yep, she's going to get it. Yep, she's the one. I'm waiting. Like, whatever you do is going to be great because I just watch how you process it.
And that's the other thing. I love that I like process. Like everything is a process. Going back to what I was saying, like there's a lesson in everything. Like enjoy the process. There's
Mm,
kind of one thing that's guaranteed, unfortunately, but
that's it.
enjoy the process. Like learning and going back to what I enjoy doing with people, like learning is a process. You have to make meaning of stuff. Like that those moments where I'm literally just like I'm making meaning. Like, what does that mean in my brain? What does that mean based on my past experiences? What does that mean if I remove my emotions in this moment? Like, what does that mean? Have I heard this before? Like, there's so many things that's trending in my head to say, like, what's the best thought for me?
Right.
What's not, I love that life says there's not a right or wrong answer. There's the truth or the real answer.
Yeah.
Or he says, I don't want the right or the wrong answer. I want the real answer.
Yeah.
And it's like, I got to process through my mind. You got to process through your mind. What skills don't you have? What
Right.
things do you need to ask about? What things do you not know what to ask about?
Right.
Who do I
And
need
y'all,
to be around?
he's talking about life. Life speaks life on Instagram. Just for those that don't know
Yeah,
who he
sorry.
is, he hasn't blessed us with his presence at the podcast yet. So y'all will see
Yes,
him later in life, I guess. But yeah,
life
it's
speaks life. Yeah.
yeah, life speaks life. So when it's something I think I say it every day, and I probably say it in a joking manner, but I'm always very serious. I always say make it make sense.
Hmm.
And everybody's always
Absolutely.
like, yeah, ha 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 ha. But I'm for real. Like, make it make sense to you so that you can break it down for other people.
Hmm.
And in that way you can move forward. And a lot of people don't, again, a lot of people can see big picture. But when you ask them to break that down and tell you what that looks like, they're not able to do that. So I
Hmm.
think it's dope that you help people do that.
Hmm.
Because that collaboration is so needed, and the fact that you are doing it inside of a school system in a school setting makes it even more important because our youth need it right now. They need people who can do different types of teaching styles and things of that nature.
Thank
So,
you.
no, I am proud of you. Yes. So we are gonna head out, but I was wondering if you would share an affirmation with our tribe.
I am It's so crazy that we helped the student with affirmations today. And um, I'm going to share one that he has written based on the situation, but also one that I think is dear to you. And that is, I am enough.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Look, I'm
I
like,
am enough.
who did that? But we can't say on the air. So you have to tell me later. But yes, I love it. That is definitely one of my favorite affirmations, especially when I started beginning affirming myself. Before I could say, "Oh, I'm more than enough," or "I'm great," "I'm this, that, and the third," I first had to affirm that the foundational space was secure. I am enough, and
Mhm.
that allowed me to go to different spaces in my affirmation. So that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with our tribe. All right, y'all. We are gonna sign off from Miss Brianna. You want to tell them like how they can get in contact with you, or
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram at underscore in her lane. Um, Also, you can subscribe to my website at inherlane.com, where I will continue to share things that you can just do related to supporting yourself as a learner and those around you.
awesome sauce? Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you being here.
Mhm.
Y'all, I will catch you next time. Peace, peace, peace. Love and light.